Thank you for downloading the Taxi Commander passenger application, which allows you to book the closest taxi in markets throughout North America. Once you install the Taxi Commander application from the App Store on your Android or iPhone, then you would first launch it. The first thing you'll be able to do is enter your contact information. So after launching the application, press the menu in the top left and go to User Settings. Put your name, cellular phone number, and email address in there. And it's important to do this so that you get an accurate receipt after each trip. Then press Submit. If you're using Taxi Commander in a market that supports in-app payment using your credit card, then go to the card settings area, enter your credit card information, expiry date, and the number on the back, and press Submit. And it will have 3 check marks if everything is correct, and then press the Submit button. Once you've installed the application on your phone and entered your personal information and you're ready to book a trip, touch on the icon to launch the application, and it'll open up and show you where it believes that you already are according to your GPS of your phone. So be sure that you have your GPS enabled, and if you do, it should show you very accurately exactly what your address is. And so it's assuming that you're going to be picked up at the location you're already at. And it's also going to show you the 5 closest vehicles to where you are. Now, you don't have to book a pickup at your current location. You could book a pickup for your daughter at school, or your husband at work, or what have you. So if you're not planning on being picked up at the current location where you are, which is already shown in the address at the bottom, then there's a couple of things you can do. You can click on the menu in the top left and go to Recent Places and choose any of the last several places that you've been, if one of those happens to be correct. And that's handy when you're booking trips frequently from the same places or to the same places. The other thing you can do is touch on the address at the bottom and then just start typing an address or a place. And it uses Google, look up Google Places. So for example, the Delta Hotel, as you type, it starts drilling down and it will give you a list of everything that matches. Just touch on the place that you want to be picked up at, and it will drop a green pin on the map at that location. Then press the Next button on the bottom and it will drop a red pin, and now you can drag that red pin to your destination, or choose a recent place from the top as we talked about, or touch on the drop-off address at the bottom and type in, for example, an airport or wherever you would like to go. And by the way, you could have also dragged the green pin for the pickup. That's one thing I forgot to mention, was that when you're booking the pickup, it's going to show a green pin where you are when you open up the app. And you could have dragged that green pin as well. So for example, if you're picking up at a bar and you've wandered down the street, you could drag the pin to where you actually are if it doesn't look like it's correct. You also could click the eye in the bottom right, which will center your pickup location. If you have wandered down the street, that will recenter your location. So as you can see, it's drawn a route from my pickup to my drop-off address, and I'm ready to book this trip. So the next thing I'm going to do, I can press Next if I'm satisfied with the pickup and drop-off. And if I don't want to manually pick a vehicle, I can just go Next and then review the trip and submit it for confirmation. Or what I can do is touch on any of the 5 closest vehicles to where I am, the closest vehicles, in order to see the ETA and distance and driver information for that particular vehicle, as well as the fare. So for example, and I can tell by looking at these icons whether it's a sedan or a van, a limousine, and so on. But I can touch on any one of those vehicles, see the driver's name, in this case John Roberts. It's an ETA of 7 minutes for him to get to me and 3.7 kilometers. Then I can click the cancel button if I want to look at another driver. He's 6 minutes away and 3.2 kilometers. And this fellow over on the bottom left is 13 minutes away and 9.3 kilometers. So the guy in the middle is the closest to me. So I can touch on him, and of course, whatever driver I'm clicking on, it's going to show me the fare amount, and that's not going to change because the fare is estimated from the pickup to the drop-off. It doesn't matter where the driver is that's picking me up. And as I mentioned before, if I don't really care who picks me up, I can just submit the trip and let it choose for me. Now, the other thing I can do is decide whether I want to pay the driver in the vehicle or whether I want to pay the driver with my credit card that's stored in the app. And of course, in most cases, that's going to be the most convenient thing. It depends on whether the fleet in your market area accepts credit card built into the app or not. And it also depends, for example, that fleet might accept credit card, but they might make it optional on each trip, and other fleets might make it mandatory. It just depends on the fleet. So let's assume that I want to use in-app payment. You'll notice that when I changed it from paying the driver to paying in-app payment, it automatically estimated the gratuity at 15%. I'm going to have a chance at the end of the ride to adjust that gratuity to whatever I think is fair. But what it's doing is it's estimating the fare at $23.40 and it's adding on the 15% tip. But I'm not actually going to be charged that until the end of the ride. And at that time, the actual fare amount and the tip that I choose is what's going to go to the driver through my credit card. So once I'm satisfied, then I'll press the submit button, and that will submit the trip. Once you submit the trip, then it will tell you that it's been submitted, and then you will wait for that to be assigned to the driver, either automatically or the driver you chose. And as soon as it's been assigned to the driver, it will indicate that it has been assigned, as you see here. And it will also show you other information such as the driver's name and the ETA and the fleet phone number. You can contact the fleet if you need to by telephone just by touching on the number, and it will automatically call that number. So now that it's been assigned, I can see that that vehicle is 6 minutes away, and I'm able to follow that vehicle in real time on my smartphone with a GPS update frequency of every 10 seconds, which is quite frequent. So I'll be able to see when the vehicle is getting close to my pickup destination so that I'm available and ready to be picked up. Once the vehicle arrives, the driver will press the call out button, which will indicate to the passenger that he's nearby. And once you see that, then you'll have an opportunity to either cancel the ride or let them know that you're still there. In some markets, you might be billed a cancellation fee if you cancel too late, because the driver may have already driven all the way to the pickup. And so, depending on the fleet, there might be a small fee for a cancellation, but typically that will not be charged unless he's close to the pickup destination. In other words, you took a long time as a passenger to cancel that fare. So I'm going to let him know that I'm still here. And the driver will get a message that you're still available and on the way out to meet the taxi. Once you get into the vehicle, then the driver will indicate that you have entered the vehicle, and he'll mark that trip loaded. And at that time, you'll see on your application that it's been changed to loaded. And you'll be able to follow along in the vehicle on your own map if you care to, so that you can follow his progress and make sure he's going an efficient way. You can also see on your smartphone that your ETA to the airport, to the destination, is 21 minutes, and that will count down, of course, as you get closer to the destination. Once the driver arrives at the location where your drop-off is, then he will mark the trip complete, and he will adjust the $23.50 estimated fare to the actual fare. And let's say in this case that that's $25. And then he'll push the button to complete the trip, marking it in, and he will know that in this case you chose to pay using the credit card built into the application. So he'll push the in-app button, and that will then prompt you for a gratuity. And it will start counting down from 5 minutes. So basically what it's doing is it's been adjusted to the actual fare. The estimated fare was $23.40. The actual fare is $25. And it's adjusted the tip based on the original 15%. But as a passenger, you now have the opportunity to adjust that tip depending on this experience level that you received and how fair you want to be. In this case, I've adjusted the tip to $5, so the total is now $30. And now I would simply submit the trip after I rank the quality of the trip or the driver with the stars. Now, if my smartphone battery had died, or if we were out of coverage at the end of the ride, or if I just wasn't concerned about it and didn't have my smartphone turned on, then it wouldn't matter, because the driver would this trip would automatically get billed to your credit card at the actual fare of $25 plus the original estimated tip of 15%. So that's why it's counting down from 5 minutes. It's giving you 5 minutes as a passenger to adjust the gratuity, but if you don't adjust the gratuity, then it'll simply put it through at the original 15%. And so at the end of the trip, if you still have the app running, you would press the submit button, and of course that marks the trip complete, and you can now close the application and proceed about your day. Now, if as a final closing gesture, you should know how to close an application. On an iPhone, there's no exit button allowed on the application. There's no such thing as a close button on any Apple app. So if you're on an iPhone and you want to close the app, then you would double click on your home button at the bottom, and then that shows you all your applications that are running. Now you would just flip it off your screen. And then you would touch back on the home screen, and now that application's been closed. If you're on an Android phone, then you would just press the Android back button 2 or 3 times until it disappears, and that closes the application as well. So I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy using Taxi Commander, and thank you very much.